And so, Marie-Julie Jahenny had all this and more to say. She was in a place called La Fraude in Brittany. She, though, we might say, okay, is this authentic? Well, yes, the Archbishop of Nantes that had a big commission to assess her visions and he declared them absolutely true. So a local bishop is the one who can do that. It isn't always arrogated to Rome to make these determinations. She carried the stigmata of our Lord. So, you know, it's not just her coming out with tall tales, and all the mystical phenomena surrounded her. So, yes, a really, really major character in our times, because died in 1941 is modern times. There we are. So
where does all that fit in with like end times prophecy? Is that sort of a restoration of France before end times, or is it after end times? Is that destruction of Paris part of the end times? And then
my assessment of it is, yes, it is, because I've not read everything there is to read about Marie-Julie Jahenny's prophecies. If the great Catholic monarch is to come, then he will be the instrument of Christ to bring. There's going to be a restoration of the Catholic faith. That is perhaps the opening of what is called in St. John's, the book of Revelation, the 1,000-year reign of Christ. Because in St. John's Revelation, we see Christ comes back, and out of his mouth a sword comes to destroy his enemies. And we Catholics say, though, Christ won't come back visibly. The second coming will be physical, as the first coming was, and it'll be at the end of history, when the earth is to pass away and a new heavens and new earth are to come. So we say, I think the Holy Office in 1944 specified this. It is wrong to speak of a visible return of Christ, visible reign of Christ on earth. But that doesn't rule out a spiritual return of Christ and a spiritual reign. But if he's returning spiritually, he must have physical instruments to enact his decrees. And I think the great Catholic monarch fits in there. And when all the enemies are vanquished, then the reign will begin. If I'm wrong, and I could be wrong about that, because we could have this period of peace, and then it breaks down, and the Antichrist comes. And so we have it. So we're not yet in that period, that 1,000-year period, as it's called.
Yeah. It's all interesting stuff. I mean, there's been lots of words written on how to sort of interpret the end times and what signs there will be and everything. But yeah, there's got to be something, hasn't there, that the faithful should be able to relate to in some way, so that they know this thing. But yeah, what it will be and how it will be all over the world will remain to be seen, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. I think though that when we talk about a city like Paris being destroyed, it's like we're in such a stage in Europe anyway of utter devastation of our civilization, and it's hard to think of that as not being a major turning point in history, and that is the point where Antichrist is on the earth.